This new second-generation Audi Q5 has the very tall task of replacing the very successful, highly selling first-generation Q5. So how has Audi done?
Well, I think Audi succeeded, actually. It was always going to be pretty difficult for Audi to one-up the first-generation Q5. And not because the first-generation Q5 was the best SUV in the world, but it was an extremely popular model, an extremely high-selling model. It was a car that, while enthusiasts may not have been too excited about, its fan base loved. Now, being Quattro Daily, we are an enthusiast site, an Audi enthusiast site. We like fast cars, we like performance cars, we like things from the Audi Sport division, RS cars, the RS3, the RS5, the R8, cars like that. That's what really tickles our fancy. So, what about a plain Jane Audi Q5? I mean, this is a pretty humdrum model, this is a pretty entry-level model, this specific one. So, what does an enthusiast, an Audi enthusiast, feel about this?
Die-hard Audi enthusiasts aren't going to be impressed with the Q5's handling, power, or performance. For that, they'll look to the SQ5.
This, though, is marketed more towards your average customer, your average Audi customer, who wants something that's quiet, comfortable, dependable, luxurious. And I think that this car really does offer that perfectly. At first, I will admit, I wasn't a huge fan. I was a little bit disappointed when I first got in. It didn't drive with the sort of enthusiasm that I had hoped. It's not quite as sharp as I had hoped. And ultimately, it just wasn't as enjoyable to drive as I had originally anticipated. But then I started to live with it more. I started to really use it for everyday life, and not just on twisty back roads. And that's when I really grew to appreciate it. Because this is a very, very good car once you drive it and live with it the way it's meant to be. And that's at a more relaxed pace. Calm down a little bit. Another reason that I was slightly disappointed when I first got it was the suspension. Now, being an Audi, I had just assumed suspension was going to be sort of firm, have minimal body roll, and make the car feel agile. Well, it's none of those things. The suspension is quite soft. There's quite a lot of vertical motion. There's a lot of body roll, as you can see. If you try to chuck it through corners, you're going to get a lot of body roll, and it's a bit unsettling. But that's okay in a luxury car. Just puttering around town, it's very soft, it's very comfortable, it's very relaxed. It's also very stable, so don't let that body roll fool you into thinking that it's sloppy, because it isn't. At high speed, this thing's a bullet train. It's rock solid stable. It's just not sharp in the corners, and it's not designed to be. It's designed to be comfortable, and it is. Now, I think what really disappointed me about its lack of athleticism is the fact that the engine and the transmission, the powertrain in this car, the powertrain's very good. The engine's very good, the transmission's very good, and it's good enough to allow this car to actually be quite sporty. So under the hood is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and it makes 252 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot. That's quite a bit from this little Turbo 4, and it's more than enough. It's plenty in this little Q5. It's not the fastest car in the world, and it's not blow your hair back fast, but it's definitely quick enough. It's more than adequate, and you'll never miss a 6-cylinder with this little tiny 4-pot. Now, the interesting part of the powertrain is its transmission. So rather than the typical ZF source 8-speed auto that you get in almost every other Audi product, and BMW and Porsche and everything on the road, Lexus, this has Audi 7-speed S-tronic dual-clutch gearbox. It's the same one you'll find in the Audi A4, the Audi A3. Oddly enough, not any S model or RS model cars, despite a dual clutch typically being sportier, but it's the standard transmission in the Q5. And it's a bit odd because the Q5 is sort of more relaxed, so you figure that the 8-speed auto would actually fit this car a little bit better. It's just an odd choice. For me, I think the 8-speed would be the better transmission in this car because it's a little bit smoother, it's a little more relaxed, and it shifts just as fast. The S-Tronic dual clutch box in this is really good 90% of the time. It's excellent, actually. In fact, it's one of the best transmissions on the market 90% of the time. But there's a 10% where it starts to act up just a little. So when you're moving from a dead stop, it is a touch lurchy. You feel just a little bit of, I guess it's the clutch engaging, the electronic clutch engaging, and it just feels a little, it's not as smooth as it should be. It's just a touch lurchy. And that is unfortunate in a car that is as premium and as luxurious as this. Having said that, once you're on the move, this gearbox is excellent. In drive, just plain old drive, it's always in the right gear. It is very smart. It is very sharp. It's very fast. The gear changes are instantaneous. I will say that. They are incredibly sharp. But there is always the sport mode. So if you click the gearbox down one more time from drive to sport, it, livens up the gearbox a little bit, makes it more excited, makes it more willing to change down, and it holds on to lower gears longer, and it just gives you a little bit more performance, and that is quite nice. And in sport dynamic mode, it's it's sharp, it's fast, and it's really responsive, and it's not reluctant to change down. You step on it, it drops gears, and you go. There's also manual mode. If you click the shifter into manual, you can use the paddles. And this is where the transmission really comes alive and really starts to make sense, because even downshifts are very sharp. Upshifts are just immediate. You just pull a paddle and bang, it snaps right into gear. And it feels very, very sporty. It feels very sharp. It feels very dynamic. That's where this transmission makes a case for itself. However, if you use the Audi Q5 as intended, it's fantastic. So if you just chill out, relax, and drive the Q5 as Audi intends the regular Q5 to be driven, you really will enjoy it. More importantly, you will enjoy the best part about the Audi Q5, and that's its interior. The cabin of this new Q5 and all Audis is really fantastic. I adore the interior design of all new Audis, and this Q5 is no different. But you also have Audi's virtual cockpit, which is by far and away the best high-definition instrument cluster in the business. It is incredible. I love it. The only one that might be better is the new Audi A8s. But the virtual cockpit is just the icing on top of the incredibly delicious cabin cake that the Audi Q5 provides. Because the interior of this car, and to be honest, most Audis, feels absolutely bomb-proof. Everything just feels like it's built to the absolute highest quality. Every button, every switch, every knob, everything just feels so well built and so well screwed together. I love all the materials. They're all fantastic, all top-notch. The leather feels supple and soft. Even the plastics feel really, really good. There's nothing in this car that feels cheap. There's nothing in this interior that feels flimsy or brittle. Everything just feels so sturdy and so high quality. If you own a first generation Q5 and are looking to get a new SUV or possibly upgrade to this, don't hesitate in getting this. Don't hesitate in upgrading to this car, because you'll love it. If you like the first one, you're going to love this one. It's better in every way, objectively, subjectively. This is far better than the first generation car.
Audi has put on a clinic on how to do a sequel. This new second generation Q5 improves on the old car in every single way possible, while also enhancing the qualities that made the first one so great. Enthusiasts might not love it for its power, performance, or dynamics, but fans of the car will love what it has become.